what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Collective Unfiltered. We appreciate y'all joining us live every Monday night at 7. Um, Big show today. Got a special guest. I'm excited to introduce y'all, but before we do that, Boog, say what up to the people.
Yo, what's up? It's the last Monday in January. I hope everybody has put their foot on the gas pedal for this new year for 2021 because I'm full throttle. Let's go.
Sean, say what's up to the people, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good to see you, Bud. Good to see you, cousin Lex. Name is Sean Hornbuckle, down here in Huntington, West Virginia, the Mountain Mama, wild and wonderful, and ready for an exciting show.
Hey, that's what's up. Real quick before we get this show cracking, our main man Bobby is gonna shout out who's bringing you the Collective Unfiltered episode 42.
That's right, Jaimel. It's brought to you by Just Pass It Tutoring, Sam Strong, Orange Mountain Designs, the Gold Standard, and Alexis Hornbuckle Basketball.
Yes, sir. Well, our special guest, Mr. Delegate Sean Hornbuckle, Sean Christopher. Y'all, that's my big cousin. Love him to death, but most importantly, I really love what he's doing in the community for our community, the state of West Virginia, which obviously that's where I'm also from. But Sean, just give him a little brief biography, I guess, or background on how you kind of got into politics, how you grew up. President at Marshall University, student body president at Marshall University, all
Am I going to tell it? Am I going to tell it? You going to tell
that. Go ahead.
it? No, I appreciate that, Lex. I love seeing you, K. Reed, and whenever I see you, I got to message you a little bit. But, from Huntington, West Virginia, been here my whole life, grew up, just like any regular kid, loving, outdoors, video games, really big into sports, played soccer, football, and basketball. And basketball is sort of a family tradition amongst the Hornbuckles. Either you play it, you coach it, you watch it, but you got something to do with it. And my little cousin, Alexis, K. Reed, about a month, I believe, we grew up playing basketball together. For those of y'all that don't know, you might have seen this, and it's probably not, strange to you all out there, but she grew up playing with the boys exclusively, almost till she was about 12 or 13, and even played up an age level and was the best there. So it was amazing. I tell people that sitting here today where I am, I had the luxury of having somebody that was not just a cousin, but almost like a sister to me, that was famous since we were like 11. And then another really good friend, I think might be a cousin on your mom's side, Alexis, is O.J. Mayo. And then you had Bill Walker and Juwan Brown. And so I was fortunate enough to literally grow up around superstars from a young age. So whenever I got older and I was meeting a lot of important people and things of that nature, it was just like it was nothing to me. It was just sort of second nature. I knew how to act. But after we were 12 or 13, and Alexis split with us and went exclusively to playing with girls. I went to high school, went to Huntington High, went on to later in football, basketball, graduated 4.0, went to Marshall University as a outstanding black scholar, as well as a promise scholar in the state of West Virginia. Um, my undergrad was in sports management marketing. When I first went to school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to be involved with sports. And the two things on my plate were either get in sports and business, maybe being an agent, or maybe go to sports medicine route and being a doctor. So I opted to go the sports and business route, did that, and then actually met my son's mother in college, and had him. So that sort of slowed down some of my sports agent thoughts. So then I opted to go into the financial sector, cutting my teeth with just insurance, and then later developing into a full-blown financial advisor, where I now actually have my work at Edward Jones. But just to put it in reverse a little bit, right after I got out of the MBA program at Marshall University, had a great man, icon in the town, Bobby Nelson. He was the one that sort of introduced me to politics, and I guess I'd be remiss to say if I had a little small stint at the university with school politics, and I'll tell you all about that. So Bobby Nelson introduced me to it. I was actually in the Cam Henderson Center on campus. That's where our women's basketball, volleyball team plays, men's basketball, and I was doing my GA with the Big Green and the women's basketball program. Bobby comes in there and he tells me that, hey, you're going to be running for the Democrat Exec Committee. And I said, okay, and just did it and ran and won. But then all the while I was in school, so I got to go back and reverse because when I was a junior in undergrad, again, I'm a marketing business guy. I had somebody that asked if I could run their campaign, so I ran their campaign. We won, and then they told me to come on staff. Then the next year, I had another group of folks who wanted me to aid their quest for politics in the school. I ran their campaign, and we won again. Then the next year, I had a guy ask me to be his vice president. Did that. We won. And then the next year, I ended up being student body president. So all the while, I was meeting a lot of folks in the city, across the state, that were in different leadership positions involved in whether it be business or politics, and sort of started to make a name for myself. Then fast forward, during my GA ship, Bobby Nelson, God rest his soul, he was an old mayor in Huntington. He got me to run for the Democratic Exec Committee. I won that. And then I had a buddy of mine that I've known for a while. His name is Patrick Hensley. He asked me to run for the House of Delegates. Um, and I laughed at him. And I told him, like, what are you like? What are you talking about? Like, I might do that when I have gray hair. Like, might do that, but nah, I'm not going to do that. And what is that all about anyway? So I told him no for like 2 months straight. He kept working on me, and I eventually just said yes. And at the end of the day, it's because I have a love to help people. All right. But the other thing is too is that it is a competition, and as Lex will tell you, highly competitive. It's just a trait. So you mix my love of wanting to help people, and it was a full blown competition. 2 months later, I said I'm in. So then I ran and actually lost that first time. And it was terrible. I remember that night, election day, I was actually beating all the incumbents. We have a 3-member delegation in our district. I was beating all the incumbents coming out of the majority of the district. And then I lost on the eastern side of the district. And I'll never forget, I was with a good friend of mine. He's a blooming power broker in town, and his dad is a gigantic power broker. And we were watching the returns, and everybody's happy. And that guy, that younger guy, the son, he just won his reelection bid. And his dad, who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, he looks at me and says, "Son, what's wrong with you?" And I'm looking at him like, "You big dummy, I'm losing. What do you mean, what's wrong with me?" And I just sort of looked at him, really. And he said, he's being a smart aleck. He said, "What'd you raise, son? What, $10,000, $12,000? And we all know it costs a ton of money to get into politics." And I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, hell, you raised $10,000, $12,000. You almost won the thing." He said, "The first time my son ran, we threw $100,000 in a race. And he lost." So that right there put it in perspective. Uh, that somebody that was, one of the quote unquote elite families, has all the money in the world, threw a lot of money at it and was unable to win. And here I've got my quote unquote peanuts and almost walk away beating the incumbents. So I thought about that, wasn't happy that night. The next day I called everybody that won, congratulated them. It hurt, but it's just one of those things, being a good sport you do. You learn that on the court, on the field. And I just sort of picked myself up and ran again the next year and ended up winning. Actually came in second place out of 3, and just kept the ball rolling. And now I've run first every single time. So that's where we're at, the West Virginia House of Delegates. Currently, right now, I'm actually the minority pro temp, which is actually a newly created position. We had a crazy race for the minority leader this time, and I actually got out of it because any extra time I had this year, I wanted to put back into my business, my practice, and also into my son. So, it wasn't in the cards for me at this present time to take on the role of minority leader. So I stepped back a little bit, and it was a wild race. But the leader, who was phenomenal, he's actually from your land, Alexis, from Sochaz, Mr. Doug Scaff. Um, he thought so highly of me that he created a position which is essentially the minority leader behind the scenes, sort of the assistant. So that's what I'm doing now. I have a spot in leadership with the amazing Mike Pushkin and Sean Fluharty from Willing. And we're just trying to get it done, get something done for the people.
Awesome. So, can you explain a little bit of exactly what you do as a House delegate?
Absolutely. That's a great question, Bug. So, at the end of the day, our biggest job as a delegate is to help balance the budget and pass a budget for the state. All right. If we don't pass the budget, all right, none of the public entities get paid. All right. So we have to be able to do that. We're bean counters. And by nature, I'm a lawmaker. So we are going to go to the Capitol, and West Virginia is actually what we call a part-time legislature. Most states around the country have full-time legislatures. So from where we're part-time, we go to the Capitol 60 days out of the year, 2 months. And that's when we go, we listen to constituents that come up. We try to, create new laws, look at old ones, make them better. Okay. And then we do that. And some people liken it to the sausage making process because it's very, very ugly. You have what we call committee. In committee is when bills first come about and you vet them through the committee process. You vote them up or down in committee or make amendments in committee. Then, if it passes out of committee, then it is allowed to be put on the House agenda to be voted for a final up or down. The rub there is, though, a lot of people don't know. That's a great question, Book. Is that the Speaker of the House, who is in the majority party, which right now in West Virginia, the majority party are the Republicans, they have the full discretion if they want to put a bill on the agenda or not. So even if it passes out of committee, it's still not guaranteed to get on the agenda. Then once it gets on the agenda, the calendar, um, it will go through the process. It'll be on first reading. First reading is when they have to introduce it. Second reading is the next day when you're allowed to add amendments to that bill. And third day is the final vote, voted up or down. Once you do that to the House, if it is voted up, then we send it over to the Senate, and they do the same process. Okay, they will, look at it, spit on it, chew on it, do whatever they need to do, get a product out there, and then they'll put it on on their agenda to be voted on. Then they'll go through the first reading, second reading, third reading, and then if it is accepted there without any changes, okay, then it goes straight to the governor's desk for an approval, up or down. If they like the bill, but they want to put something different in it, they will sort of offer another amendment, and then they'll come back to us in the House, okay? And that's how we'll do that. So it's a crazy process. We need more civics courses out there to be teaching our, elementary, middle school, and high school students, because I can guarantee you probably 70% of our country does not know, to none of their fault, how the process actually works.
Yeah.
No,
What type of
like
wine
not,
you got over there, Bud?
huh?
What type of vino you got over there?
Oh, it's I know it looks like it. It's actually grape juice.
All right, that's even better. All right, I know you all big time trainers. We're going to treat our bodies right.
I might have a snippet of wine over there, but you're right. Like I really don't know like the kind of like intricate process of bills getting passed and how kind of the checks and balances and the
Yeah,
hierarchy of the government.
no,
So
it's wild, and we desperately need more things in our schools growing up to teach that in a more focused way. A lot of times, people will teach it in your social studies class in middle school and just sort of gloss over it. Then you might get a little
yeah,
taste of it in high school, but it really needs its own dedicated course because there's a lot of intricate parts. And right now, it's such a crazy time in American politics because there's so much what we call dark money that's in it. Dark money is people that do not have to announce themselves as individuals can donate to any PAC, which is a political action committee, or basically a PAC, unlimited. So if somebody wants to put in $1 million, $50 million, $1,000, whatever they want to put into a PAC with dark money, they can do that. And then those PACs, they will help to drive the narrative for the agenda that they're trying to fulfill. And as we know, a lot of times that doesn't lead to a lot of truths and accuracies. And so it can, have that adverse effect leading to propaganda, a lot of, misleading information. And once that happens, we lose our way because people are believing things that aren't true. They're advocating for things that are false. And it just gets really, really dicey. So, I mean, we desperately need better and more accurate teaching of our civic system.
Definitely, I agree with that because my knowledge was minimal. I mean, a
Right.
little bit, but not really fully
Right.
understanding everything and how it's working and all that. But before we continue the rest of this podcast, we're going to, Bobby, let them know one more time who is bringing them this great show and this live event that's on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and the volunteerroadshow.com.
Well, this segment is brought to you by a local business, small business in East Tennessee, Orange Mountain Designs. Terry Holder has a great line of Lady Vol apparel, anything you want for the Lady Vols, and she supports the Lady Vols. And Alexis, when we went to the Connecticut game, we got to hear that she was giving away bobbleheads, but she supports the Lady Vols program. So go support them and tell them you heard about it on Volunteer Road Show.
Absolutely. Big shout out to Terry, man. We love your stuff. So Sean, I know people heard a lot of things in your statements, but one thing that really stuck out, Hornbuckle to Hornbuckle, is win. All we do is win.
Boom. You got it.
You
Hey,
know,
ain't nothing else, baby.
yeah,
Hey, even in a defeat, you better win something.
yeah, that's big. But all jokes aside, coming from West Virginia, you and I know this, and you know it more than I do, because you are in politics. It's not as easy as it sounds due to the demographics and like how our
Yeah.
state is being a red state. And I'm putting out there because this is the collective Unfiltered. West Virginia is a racist state. I'm born and raised there, but I'm gonna call it what it is. So how did you navigate that? Did you ever feel like you had to walk on eggshells because you are a black man entering politics? And explain a little more about the district that you represent, because some of them counties, boy, like Wayne, yeah.
So, just talking about my district, I was sort of back there. I represent a greater portion of Cabell County, and then also I dip down a little bit in the Lincoln County. So I would venture to say our district, the 16th district, is probably um, like 97.
This is Unfiltered, by the way.
I know. I'm thinking of my numbers. Even though I'm filtered, I want it to be accurate. Uh, I would probably say somewhere in between 97 to 94% um, white. So that leaves what we'll say, 3 to 7% or whatever, 3 to 6%, um, whatever that is, non-white. So to get elected, it's you know it's not a bulk of African Americans who are electing me. It is by far a sweeping, vote from a mainly Caucasian bloc. And I think there's a couple things to that. I think one, I've never been shy about. I think that my dad and his brothers and his sister, obviously one of which is your dad, did a lot for me, paving the way. Because outside of Democrat, Republican, red, blue, or being a not as cultured state, we'll say.
Love the PC answer.
No, I mean it is what it is. But they have done so much for especially the Huntington area, the Huntington, the Charleston area, the Valley. So you know, having that being said, sometimes a lot of people can look beyond that
Right.
But it wasn't always the case. I think that's why, I lost my first race because I was an unknown commodity and I looked a little bit different. So just that level of comfort wasn't there. But the interesting thing is, I always brag on, the Lincoln County portion of my district is that, to my fault, I just didn't know the first go around how to really work it and who all I needed to be talking to and speaking with and asking for their support, seeing what's on their mind. When I made a cognitive effort to go out there, I just fast forward to today. The people out in Lincoln County they like me far better than my white counterparts. It's because they can relate to me. I'm real. I'm 1,000. I'm 100. So even though we might look different, our plights are vastly similar versus someone who comes from money or who got, I will here in a few years, but as of right now, don't, somebody have a ton of money, like they just vibe with me better. Like that's our guy. So, I mean, it's always been a thing. It always will be a thing. But, just trying to, what we say in sports, kill the noise and just keep, plugging away at whatever's right in front of you is really the secret to success, I think, in this type of area. Um, but it's being smart. It's playing chess too. You know, not on a black white thing, but I know when I first got in, they tried to rail on the fact that I was younger. So that's the first time that I really grew a beard, just to give the optics of, well, no, I'm actually older than what you think. I'm not, but I look the part, right? So just doing things like that, and just being honest. Like I'm a proponent of, I'm always gonna be myself, and I'm a person that we've got a lot of issues when it comes to race here, as far as like a super low glass ceiling on you know achievements and success and things of that nature. But I also don't dwell on it. So I can be an advocate and I can fight like hell for people of color, black issues, things like that. But you also got to understand where you're at. So I understand that even though I think it's uniquely different, and I think we have extra obstacles or hurdles. I will be upfront in saying that our plight is very similar to that white person in the holler. Like it just is what it is. So like when you're able to relate to somebody on that type of a level, more often than not, you can sort of you can get past that. And if somebody knows you personally, and I'm sure you've experienced this before, being down a rocky top, okay, all right, somebody might not rock with all of us, but they'll rock with me.
Right.
Somebody might not always rock with us, but they'll rock with Bug or they'll rock with Lex because they know you personally. All right. So it's like, yeah, my mamaw told me all these bad stories about them their colors, but that Hornbuckle, he all right. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so it is what it is, and you just get through it. And there's so many good people here, and shame on us for not being able to display that.
Yeah, well, hopefully, things will change. They have changed. I'm not going to sit here and say they haven't, but things will continue to get better because they haven't really gotten a lot better. It's just a little better. But I definitely appreciate what you do. But I love being able to scroll through, my social media and see different awards, accolades, or where you're out in the community helping people, changing things. I'm like, yo, that's my cousin. uh Mr. 304 in the building, you dig? But keep doing what you're doing, man. And anytime you want to hop on our show and educate people more about civics or politics or financial literacy, it's huge. Um, we would love to have you, Bobby. Before we continue, we have any questions on or comments on YouTube, Facebook?
Yeah, we do. But before I read those, who name drops who the most? Does Sean name drop Alexis, or does Alexis name drop Sean the most?
Man, he
That's
named
a
one
great question. I don't know. You know what? Cause like it's like really. You said it's Bobby, right?
Yeah.
Like our family is like super duper close, and especially what we call the lower half of the cousins. The I guess you'll call it, well, little Mike and Lindsay are in it, but they say they start at the lower half. right?
Mhm.
To where we're a lot closer in age, and we were all involved in sports at the same time, and their dads were coaching us. We're literally like all brothers and sisters. So I'm like so daggone proud of her. It's like it's crazy. So like I know like they'll be like I got a super good buddy in town. He's a good buddy. He's a client. He's huge on the basketball girl scene. And like anytime he'll talk about it, I'm like, you do know like my cousin was the best like ever from the state. And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, no. Like she got like McDonald's All American Game MVP. Like she was the WBCA Women's Player of the Year in the nation coming out. Like two-time champion. It's both in college and it like I like gush about her. So I don't know. It might be a flip of the coin, Bobby.
It might be because like he said, we are so like proud, and our family, like if you just really look at what everybody's really doing and their accolades or titles or where they're at, man, I mean, we're all over the place. So anytime I get to brag, I'm bragging. That's just
Now,
what it.
Bobby, albeit it was a 9.5 foot goal. When we were 13, she was dunking on boys. I can't make this up to you, Bobby. I can't make it up.
I
For real.
believe it.
I
I
even
believe
dunked
it.
on one of my other cousins, Bobby.
Hey, we had a guest on from West Virginia. They do a really great podcast, the Raspy Voice Kids. She was like royalty. They couldn't believe they were on the podcast with the WV, Alexis Hornbuckle.
Hey,
And
I tell you what, she is the second most famous hornbuckle to come from our state. So we will give her that. We will give her that.
Who's first? Who's first?
You looking at him, baby?
well, I'll read YouTube and you get Facebook, Jay. Somebody over here on YouTube said, very good. The basics are now missing from education. Just a statement.
We got our leading lady over here, Maria. She said, "What was your reaction to Delegate Derek Evans being charged after the U.S. Capitol building riots?"
Um, when he was in the act, I was not surprised. Mr. Evans, he has a history of such incidents. Um, he on December 31st is actually when his restraining order expired. Um, he's just he's had some issues. He's done some things that are unbecoming of a person at a women's healthcare facility in Charleston, and that is where it sort of spiraled, and he had a restraining order put on him. So unfortunately, I wasn't surprised, but it just tells you where we are as a state of Americans, and not so indicative of West Virginia because I mean there was people literally from every state that had a part of the domestic terrorism that we all watched. So I mean, at the end of the day, we are so in the guys, I'm a proud Democrat, but that doesn't define me. Like when I was first elected to office as a rookie delegate, the first big bill of the session, and the biggest bill that year is when the Republicans took over was a piece of tort reform, which essentially means changing laws. On the biggest bill of the session, not only did I vote with the Republicans, I was like one of maybe two Democrats. I might have been the only one that did it. And it was because I called everybody that was involved at home in Huntington and was polling them on it. And I truly thought that the bill could advance us from a business standpoint with jobs. And it was actually the people who helped me maybe the most as far as funding. It was the biggest bill they were against. And I would end up going for it. So, at the end of the day, regardless of party, and I want to spell out that story for you because even though I'm a proud Democrat, proof is in the pudding that party doesn't matter to me. I'm always about people first. But we're so hyper polarized, and my personal opinion is this past administration that just left office, it was never about Republicans. It was about one man and his ego. It wasn't a regular Republican. It wasn't a George Bush that might make you mad. You might disagree with his policies. But at the end of the day, he's going to be a statesman. He's going to be respectful, all right? And you know where he stands as far as humankind, just wanting to help people, all right? Again, you might vehemently disagree with his policies. That's a different story, you know. And Barack Obama, I'll call him Uncle Barry, all right? I don't know what y'all call him. But regardless of his policies, all right, upstanding citizen. We can go back and back and back. We can literally look at all these people. And I feel like because of a personal agenda, this person who is good at what they do as far as propaganda is just led people astray. And, you know, we've got to get back to the blocking and tackling in politics, being okay when somebody has a disagreement and vowing your effort to do the best for the public, the greater good. And more often than not, that answer is going to it's going to be in the middle somewhere. But I guess I got long-winded on that. So, you know, I wasn't surprised by Derek Evans, but it was very unfortunate. And I think that, you know, the Republican Party will have their chance in West Virginia to maybe, you know, go down a different path.
Good deal. Maria, we hope that answered your question. We also have a question from Denise Teague. She said, what's the best advice you were ever given?
I'll say that's a couple things. I guess one is it's simple. We've all probably heard it, but you only live once. The second is to get comfortable, you got to be uncomfortable. That one always is super simple, but that one always sticks out to me because more often than not, whatever we're striving for, there's going to be some rough patches and some obstacles, and you just got to get through them to get to that other side. So reminding oneself of that a lot in life is very, very helpful. And I think, wow, that's a very, very good question. Work like no one else will work for the next 10 years of your life, and you will live like no one else can live the rest of your life after that. So basically just, you know, it's really just emphasizing the grind, sacrifice, and commitment. And if you stick true to those things, however you wish for life to play out for you, and those successes, what you define as success, will inevitably chase you.
Love it.
Definitely agree.
That's some personal development for y'all. Y'all better tune in, lock that in, write that down, remember it. Yeah.
Write that down. Hey, man, I tell y'all one thing, man. I like your style, Bobby. We're talking about old stuff. We're talking about family stuff. Now, you know, she called me Christopher when we first came on this show. She called me by my middle name, so she knew she'd open up a can. Fun factoid. So, Alexis K. Ree,
Hornbuckle.
Cedric Jerome, and Kara Elizabeth. Right? That's my sister, her brother. We used to stay together a lot. And Kara was a little bit younger, okay? But she came along later as we got older. But Alexis, Sid, and myself, we were joined at the hip. And we stay at my house, Uncle Mike's house, their dad, Uncle Jerome, Aunt Juan's house, Aunt Leanne with Uncle Mike, of course, and Aunt Jackie's house. And Alexis was notorious for wetting the bed, y'all. She was a bed wetter.
Wait.
Look at that look. Look at that look.
No, her camera froze. She didn't even hear it.
I didn't even hear it, yo.
Don't worry. Don't worry. You don't need to hear it.
That's the best part. She didn't even hear it.
Make her have to go back and listen.
You gotta say it again because I know he got ignorant on here. Like I know it.
No, he said a lot of good things about you. No, he said a lot of good things about you, Lex.
But what do you say, bud?
He said you were notorious for wetting the bed.
At least I ain't pooping the tub. What are you talking about? Yo, do not come for my life, Sean. I'm coming back. I'm coming back strong, cuzzo.
Yo, that was priceless.
Take bats like little kids do together, right? Like he said, we were more like brother cousins, sister cousins. Like it was our cousin, right? So yeah, we used to take baths together, and Sean dropping logs in that thing. He wasn't the only one in the tub. Look how selfish and nasty he was, Christopher.
Yo, that's crazy. Real quick, Trish Jackson checking in from Pennsylvania, and she appreciates your insight. And Maria actually said cousins are the best. Before you actually told that story, she said, "Tell us something about each other that is funny," and y'all
Maria
hit
got
that.
the good dirt. I hate that I couldn't even see it. Hey,
And
we might need to clip that right there. My reaction when I didn't see it, and then my reaction
no,
when I.
because your camera was still like this. I was like, "It's bro."
I thought that I didn't know it was Frozen. I thought she
Yeah,
was
but
like
your face
for
is like
real.
this.
He's saying that. I thought she was like
Oh no,
I didn't know it was Frozen.
now one thing about our family, like if it's happened, it can come out because it really happened. We're very honest. Now everybody don't really like that. They get mad. Why you say nah, man? That joint is funny. You know how long ago that was?
but one thing though, while we here, I don't remember these logs you speak of, ma'am.
Well,
Uh, let's where. Let me see if I can get my brother on
Jay
FaceTime.
Hornbuckle says, "Man, what is that fool doing on there?"
Yeah, disregard him, Bobby.
Disregard him.
He'll get you in a
Oh
whole heap of trouble.
yeah,
Whole
Mike,
heap of
Bobby. I'm
trouble,
gonna agree
country.
with that one. I'm gonna agree with that one. Bobby, Bobby, one more time. Just in case people tuned in late, we always want to give thanks to the people that help us and help you make this show possible.
Well, there's a lot of people to thank. We mentioned before Orange Mountain Designs. We're actually sponsoring Sam Strong fundraiser. Go to it's pinned to the top of the Facebook page. Go and donate, and 100% of the funds goes directly to a family with a child suffering from leukemia or cancer. Alexis Hornbuckle Basketball is a sponsor, and so is the Gold Standard. They're both training outfits. Why don't you pub your own training outfit? Tell us about it.
Let's go. I know if y'all trying to get right on the court, but also in life, talking about discipline, talking about learning the fundamentals of the game and life, whether that is via personal lessons, one on one, small groups, or even team situations, or if you're looking for a home for your youth, third grade through 11th grade, to come learn and play the game as a travel team on an actual team and experience what the game of basketball can do for you. That's what I'm here for. Book.
The gold standard fitness and sports performance training, where we take care of all your needs: nutrition, sports performance, fitness, overall health, and wellness. Come holla at me. We even got you covered if you want to be virtual. Wear your face mask in the house. Stay away from COVID. We got you covered on all levels. If you live in the Atlanta and surrounding areas, I can also come to you, or you can come to me, and you can get this work in person. Check us out, goldstandardtraining.com.
Yeah, yo, Sean. So what's up next for you? We're obviously rounding out January. February's coming. What do you have in the next couple of months before the summer hit? Like, what are some things that you're getting done?
Awesome, awesome. So I'll just sort of give you the landscape, all right? So I'll tell you what I did today. So I came in earlier today. I tried to get in the office no later than 8 o'clock. The market doesn't open up till 9:30. Working on a lot of different things. If you all paid attention, the market's having some swings right now. It's being sort of responsive to vaccines, potential mandates that might come down, different things of that nature. So this is a really busy time of the year for me. Just trying to get my clients back into focus and make sure their portfolios are built for the long term to withstand some of the turbulent times and volatility coming up. So I've used some of that. I had a big 401k presentation last week, so I followed up on that. And then I quickly pivoted to, during a break, pivoted to trying to plan for my basketball team. I have probably, all right, we haven't been able to play since the summer of 2019, but I would probably guess that I probably have the best eighth grade AAU team in the state of West Virginia, probably the tri-state area as well. Got some really good kids on it. So we added some some new coaching staff, so I'm trying to figure out how to get them some games, given the current situation right now with the pandemic. So trying to start looking at some different stuff there. And then, right before I went back to my work with Edward Jones, I was looking at, a list of bills that I want to keep pursuing. That's ENDA. Every year there's a few of us that sponsor an ENDA bill. Trying to end discrimination against the LGBTQ community when it comes to housing and jobs and things of that nature. That's really big for me. Um, I still want to work on cannabis. Right now, we have a medicinal program in West Virginia. Did an awful lot to help get that over the hump with my good buddies Sean Fluharty, Mike Pushkin. Did really, really well in that arena. Michael Folk, thanks to him, he was one of the Republicans to help us get that going. It's been a good time, but there's a lot of issues with that bill. It's super flawed. I told my buddy Mike Pushkin at the time that they were going to pass that so that it would fail because they never wanted that, and that's what has happened. So we've got to fix that bill. But I was always a big proponent of full recreation of cannabis. I think that provided somebody's an adult, I think it is a rights issue. But also, I'm a business guy. There's a ton of money to be made from it, and right now our state is hurting economically. So being able to have a cash cow, something that allows our law enforcement to, focus on drugs that are actually killing people, to do that. I think there's all types of good things that come from it. And then with the money, we can obviously, help, our teachers, parents, students, all those good things that we all love. So still trying to work on bills like that. Still trying to work on a reentry task force, making sure when people leave from being incarcerated that they have a genuine chance and opportunity to be reintegrated with society and all those support systems that come with it. That's big on me. And right now, because of this past summer when, everything sort of boiled over, we always had issues as far as social injustice, oppression. But this summer was really bad. So, got together with a group of guys. Shout out to Deron Jackson. He's a new councilman in Huntington. And also my man Nick Thomas. You remember Nick? He's played basketball.
Yep.
Yeah. So we got together, started doing some stuff. Got a group called Finding Common Ground. I think it's very important that to really make the strides that we should be making as people in this arena of oppression, systemic racism. It's tough because we've been affected for so long, but we also have to realize that everybody has a different perspective, and everybody that disagrees with you is not always against you. It's just what life experiences have showed them. So I think the more that we can, stand firm, stand strong in our convictions and beliefs, but also be open to other thought. I think that people that are, look at this what I call oppression issue from a different angle, I think they'll be more open and receptive to what we're feeling and what we've always gone through and why we want to, eradicate that. So we started something like that to sort of just really bringing people in together, not putting any pressure on anybody, but walking it. And one of the things that came of that was we want to focus on education, healthcare, economic empowerment, policing, court system. But I started a series, guys. So I guess I'm sort of, we crazy alike. So you and Bud doing this great podcast thing. We started a show, and the show was Front Porch Talks. And so the first group I had a group of coaches led by Coach Dan Tony. Second group I had a group of veterans led by Woody Williams, the oldest veteran, all right, from World War II here in our great country. He led that. And then 2 Sundays ago, we rounded out the first season with a group of kids, a group of moms, and a mix of law enforcement and pastors. And it is literally just to accelerate the conversation, but the whole thought process is to have literally different walks of life and perspective on stage at once, talking about the same issue in hopes that people that view it, they'll be able to relate to somebody that they see, but also subconsciously understand it's okay to disagree. It's okay to see things differently, but we're still working towards a common goal because we all, even though from different walks of life, at least on my set, we all still feel that we need to go forward. All right. And we have different thoughts and opinions on that, but we all feel like, there is something and we need to do something about it. So it's a way, again, having people to find common ground and just trying to get more people on board because we got to have, lawmakers such as myself and Duran to help bring these things up. But we also need our colleagues. At the end of the day, in the House of Delegates, I'm one of 100 votes. I can't get everything done on my own. All right. Duran is one of so many in the Huntington Council. He can't get things done alone. So we have to have teammates, all right, building on sports concepts to get these things through. But also, it's incumbent upon us as people to realize that everything can't be done via legislation and laws. There's got to be initiatives, whether it's in your community, the business community, all right, the schools. There are things that still can be done that help us just to have equity. Again, it's not just going to go away, but the more and more we can chip at oppression, systemic racism, police brutality, it's not just black folks that will have their lifestyles enhanced. That's what I think a lot of times in society we miss. It's a thing of a rising tide lifts all boats. So I don't care if you're white, black, brown, yellow, doesn't matter. Once a group who has been marginalized since time has began, once they're starting to have a more piece of the pie, everybody's going to be everybody's going to be lifted, and it's just going to be such a good thing. So that's where a lot of my focus is right now.
Good deal. Real quick, over on I think we got a little cousin debate over here on Facebook. Jay said you want to hear honesty, and Kara said who would win in one-on-one, and Jay said me.
All right, so everybody out there is listening to this wonderful podcast. Jay is our beloved. He's our oldest cousin, Lex.
He might be. Yeah.
He's really old. I think he's our oldest. I know he has a lot of gray hair, but he's a great guy. He's just a great guy, but he's so daggone silly. I mean, his calling was really to be a comedian. He's hilarious. My son loves him. My son be crying. And then Kara is my little sister, lovely little lady, a bit evil at times, but she's but she's wonderful. She's amazing. So I guess the question was basketball. Now I do know the last time that we played, Alexis, winner, chicken dinner.
Jay talking to you, Sean. Jay is talking to you.
Oh, I thought you were talking about us, and I won. My bad.
Go ahead. Tell the story. Go ahead.
I beat pros. That's what I do.
Me too.
And you okay, Bud? Hey, so Bud, we was at the gym in Lexington, and I hit her with the in out, step back, hit her with the heavy. Man, she went onto the water fountain. And I just laid it up all night. But yeah, that's how I'm doing it. That's how I'm getting
And to
down.
my defense, I didn't know his jumper was wet like that. I should have known he's a hornbuckle, but yeah,
Hey,
I was like,
hey,
shoot it again, one in a row, two in a row, and it was too
hey,
late.
leaky faucet wet. I'm trying to tell you, the daggum water tank went out wet.
Oh man. Oh man. Hey,
I'm getting
Maria
ready to act
said,
it up,
who
man.
was more cousin stories? Who got into the most
Getting to the most what?
We got in the
trouble?
most trouble.
Oh, that's Alexis by far. Alexis was bad.
Yeah, she was bad. I heard stories.
And Kara, my little sister, she would have gotten the more stuff, but she was spoiled. She ain't getting no whoopings or nothing like that.
I could have answered that question, and I don't even know you, Sean. I could have told you it was Alexis, not knowing anything about you, Sean.
Bobby,
Oh
right?
yeah, she's crazy. And then the crazy thing would be me and her brother Cedric, we would always have to take the raps for our younger sisters. Like it didn't make no sense. Like, will they ever have accountability? I don't know.
Oh yeah, my brother always had to take some.
Is that who's in the YouTube comments, Cedric Hornbuckle? Is that your
That
brother?
was my brother. I said, "What's up, Bubby?" He said, "What up, big?" See you, son. Right now he's putting my nieces, his three beautiful baby girls, to bed. So he walked away from the computer. But yeah, man, we grew up very competitive. Hey, I
Hey.
remember when we was hooping outside of Uncle Mike's. I was Yo, Bobby, we was playing hoop, right? Me, Sean, said, per usual, at Uncle Mike's outside in the driveway. Sean, Sean couldn't compete at that time. He wasn't ready. He wasn't on that level. This man was crying, Bobby, crying and running off. It ain't fair.
Dang,
All
boy,
right.
all the
All right.
Hornbuckles on the podcast.
Okay. So, all right. So let's tell it all. We're gonna tell it. So it was true. Couldn't compete at that point. I was going through some things. That was my husky stage. All right. And when this was occurring, all right. Now everybody's like, I'm pretty good. I'm okay, but like they're all like really, really good. And I was husky. And Michael's going on to college. Alexis is the best girl, 12-year-old in the world. And Cedric's really, really good. And I can't reiterate enough the whole sister brother thing. Like it really wasn't cousins. And Cedric, he went through a stage. I don't know if he was taking his anger on Alexis out on me, and I was the baby brother. But Cedric used to be really aggressive with me from like age like 9 to 14. Maybe it was just a big brother thing. It helped, but it wasn't fun going through it. And he ran me over on purpose at Uncle Mike's house. He ran me over on purpose. We wasn't even playing basketball at that point. Like there was like real deal roughhouse. And I cried. I did. I did. We're gonna be honest. I did. It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. You would snatch Tristan's life if he cried. If he cried and walked off the court.
I It was a house. I walked into the house. It was not a court.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh. I wish we could have video like just had
Hey,
random
remember
videos
that?
of us growing.
Hey, remember that time that you burnt Kara's hand reaching grandma's little toaster oven? Oh man, what we told her to grab the bread or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Oh snap! Yeah,
Burnt your hand. All of it. That's wild.
yeah. Sorry, Kara. Sorry, little cousin. If y'all think I was bad, I was pretty. I like to say I was very active. Um, I was very active. Kara, if I got away with murder, she got away with murder times 10. Like she could do no wrong. Like said, and Sean took the brunt of it because obviously I'm not gonna get blamed for it. Hit them with the eyes. Like I don't know. I'm younger than them two. It's their fault. I don't know. I didn't know we couldn't do it. They didn't tell me to stop. Just pass the blame. But Karen, we need to have her on here. You talking about a hustler, entrepreneur, but you're talking about, her story. Speaking of which, I'm just going to dab this in.
I got this on my desk.
Oh, look at me and said, can y'all see that? Hey, Bobby, make that the only picture on the screen. Keep holding that up, Sean.
Hold on, I'll get it. It was just that. Hang on just a second.
Look at Sean and said, thick as thieves.
I was gonna say, Lex, you where you at?
Nah, that
Lex
ain't
is on the other side. Lex is on the other side of it. And that's just what the picture picked up.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at that. But to speak on the type of guest that we have on this show, obviously, yes, he's my cousin, but he's so selfless. And when he says he's truly about helping others, he really is. So his little sister, my cousin, Kara Hornbuckle, she had to have a kidney transplant. And that's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. She became, really, really sick. And her big brother did what big brothers do and actually gave his kidney to his little sister, who is thriving now, even doing her own business, working from home and whatnot. But that's just the type of guy who we're listening to, and that's the type of man that is leading, the 16th district in West Virginia.
That's love.
No doubt. No doubt.
I'm sorry. I think there's a debate on this family thread.
We're gonna find out.
You don't have recollection of me being a logger But we do know
Yeah,
you were a
that's what
veteran.
Cedric and Sean said. Now remember, they're thick as thieves, and Sam was watching the show. I think Sean texted him and was like, "Yeah, we don't remember that. They good for doing that." And I'm just supposed to believe it. Like, what? Nah, we don't play like that. I'm gonna have to call on Pat. No, I can't. See, now you're gonna get to everybody. Man, no politics. They move different, yeah. He trying to block my truth.
Get true.
And it's
Well,
only your
sounds
truth.
like you like to go swimming in your dreams. So
Hey, listen. Hey, I probably peed in the bed till I was like 16. No, I'm playing. It wasn't that long.
Hey,
It wasn't
hey,
that long.
color Alexis Phelps.
Hey, he got me. He got me.
oh man.
Look at him. Hey, get him off this show, man. Get him off. Get him off.
Man, Sean, it has been a blessing to have you on the show. Make sure y'all follow him on Instagram, Sean Hornbuckle, right?
Yes,
And on
Sean
Twitter,
Hornbuckle.
it's Sean _.
Yep, Sean _ Hornbuckle.
So definitely follow him on social media. Look out for him. What's next in politics? You trying to go bigger? Mayor, governor?
So, my theory, my stance is always that as long as I'm doing right by the people, everything else for me will happen organically. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe one day, um, I'll move to the Senate, or I really won't do it while my son's still in high school. Maybe I would, be a congressman or a senator, go to D.C. I could see maybe being the mayor, but you never know. 2028, 2032, we might be governor. Who knows? Or secretary of state.
Yeah,
Not
that's
that
what's
I'm
up.
plotting or anything, but
Hey, speak it into existence. I love
Hey,
it.
well, at least the log story's already out there, so you ain't got to battle that. It's already out there.
it's not true. But fake news, fake news. So sad. So sad.
So sad. Oh my gosh, man. I love it. Hey, Sean, you spoke about your show, and I just want you to tell people where they can go and watch your shows that y'all have, because that sounds like an amazing platform that, our audience would probably love to be a part of.
Absolutely. So it will be made via YouTube, Facebook. We are still working on that right now. Got my guys cutting it, editing it, and I've got to get a page to launch it from. But as soon as all that's completed, we're hoping to release the first episode by February, and you will have all the information, so you can spread it through here. Tweet it, Instagram it, share it, do whatever you want to do. And I'm just so appreciative of you all tonight, of Bobby's hard work, helping put this together on the logistics end. You and Bug doing a great job. I'm ready to come back again. So whenever you all have me, we can talk about anything. Whatever's on you all's mind, politics, whether it's the country, our state, an opinion on something that's going on in you all states, whether it's North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia. We can talk about sports. I'll talk about that all day long. Whatever. This is a really cool thing you all got going on. Anything I can do to help spread this goodness, I will.
Awesome. We appreciate you. Best of luck with everything you got going on, especially this phenomenal 8th grade boys team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
Let me hold on, man. Let me see who I got right now. Let me see. I got, man. Let me not do that, because I got like 14 kids in the program. I don't want to miss a night. Let me not do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do
Let me not do that.
Don't do that. You're gonna hurt feelings.
He thinks a lot more before he speaks, Lex. What's happened there? He thinks a lot more before he speaks, more than you do.
I'm reckless.
Hey, Bobby, I told you I'm the number one hornbuckle out of West Virginia.
Listen. He thinks a lot more, and I'm just, as Pat Summit used to call me, I don't give a shitter. It comes in my head, it comes out of my mouth, and then I'm like, oh, that probably wasn't the right thing to do. But we live and we learn. I've gotten better though, so much better. I'm still
Do we actually learn, Lex?
Huh?
Do we actually learn, or do you still need me to say, hold up, we got sponsors, Lex. Hold up, don't answer that question yet.
No. I've learned which platform I can truly be myself, and which platform I have to navigate a little differently. So that's a plus. At first, for years, many years, probably up until I was like 26, I thought it was all the same. You ask me a question, I'm gonna answer it honestly, not thinking about tact, not thinking about anything else. And that is, for those who are listening, that's not politically correct. So you have to know when to, answer or skate or answer things in a less aggressive or harsh or untactful or too honest of a way. I've learned.
Yeah, because Hornbuckle Lambkin said, "Excuse you."
To what?
I'm assuming what Pat used to call you.
Oh, hey, listen, Lindsay. Oh man, we get Dr. Lindsay Hornbuckle on here. We get some more stories. Uh, but we're not gonna do that to me. We're not gonna do that. We're not
Nope,
gonna use
you got
this
time.
Hey,
platform for that.
I tell you, and he says if he hadn't texted you, by the way, he says thank you. I think Tristan will be good here. I
I
really do.
told you he could come on.
I think Tristan will be phenomenal on here.
All right, we'll get him on if he texts back. We can get him on the platform. I'm gonna have to choke him. I've been waiting to hear about the project, man.
For sure.
All right, guys. We're gonna let y'all go. We don't want to hold y'all all night, but also I'm hungry. I know Bobby hungry, right, Bobby?
Yeah, Billy's
Well,
down there cooking. I can smell it already.
yeah, Sandra got the kitchen lit. I smell it, and we know Sean just ate. So, I gotta get this belly right. But thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Collective Unfiltered. Another successful Monday night. We shall see you next Monday. We got our guest list is pretty thick. Like I've been liking what we've been doing and how we're closing out January. Sean, you did an excellent job. We'll definitely have you back on the show at some point. Um, and make sure y'all go like it, thumbs up, share it, share it, share it. Help us to continue to reach more people using our platform. And big thank you to you, Bobby, using your platform on the volunteerroadshow.peep.com. Book, take us out.
We appreciate everybody. We will see y'all again next Monday, 7 p.m. live. You already know what it is. But until then, just remember to be unfiltered in your truth. Y'all stay safe. Mask up. Let's go.